Hello, viewers. Thank you once again for tuning in for this wonderful discussion. With me here is a wonderful panel whom I'll let introduce themselves. I will be your co-host. My name is Maxwell Mulomenge. I'm a JPRC member, and I thank you once again for being with us. So as we begin our discussion, I'd like for you to introduce yourself. We'll begin with you, sir.
Okay, thank you. I'm Simon Kongo Moigai. I'm a member of this church, and also I'm born again, and I'm humbled to be in your presence.
Thank you.
Hello, viewers. I'm Susan Dirango. I'm the chairperson of JPRC, a member of this church, and a member of district number 18. Welcome to this session.
So thank you so much, and I believe we'll be having a blessed session with you guys. So right now, our hot topic of this season, of this long period, actually even after this period, financial management. Kujipanga financially. Ama niseme kipesa. But also managing your wealth. So about it, we begin financial management. What can you tell us about it? What's the what do's and whereabouts of finance management?
Okay, thank you, Mr. Mulwa. I may start by saying that management of finances or resources is a very wide topic, and it is practical more than theory. And also it depends on individuals, because each one have what it takes for him to manage. No one is equal to the other. So it is very much personal. However, for us to be good managers, it is first to note that as the question is asking us, how do we manage that limited resources? So it is first to note that the resources are limited. I think that should be the first thing in our mind to note as we grow up, even as we bring up families, and as we go along with this life. Just first to understand that the resources are scarce and should be used wisely for better results.
So having this actually as our first thought, the resources are limited. Don't you think, first of all, everyone mostly, since we are a third world state country, our resources are limited. And so everyone is rushing to look for an alternative or how to get the big cake out of that resource or small resource that we have. But now people get that big cake, and the next minute they realize they don't have it. What goes wrong? What's wrong? What's wrong with what are we not doing? Or what are we doing that's not right?
Okay, Mr. Mulwa, I would say you start your life as a child. And by then, you are not managing any resources, but you are your parents. So the parents have to take care of you. So it first starts with infancy. There's someone who has to prepare you for that future, or how you manage your resources by then. So number one, how did your parent brought you up? How did they manage their resources by then so that they could bring you up? For instance, there are those of us who are lucky to go to school just because the parents knew, if I educate my child, maybe he'll have a chance to get a better job. The others who did not take their children to school, they purposed, I have a big farm, they can work on it. And others were very ignorant. They never bothered. That's why I'm saying, yes, we have our personal responsibilities. Even in whichever condition you are brought up, you have your personal responsibility. And I believe whichever situation you are, each one of us has a chance in this world, in the universe, to work on something and produce resources.
So, based on what you're saying, first of all, it all begins, first of all, with what we learned,
It begins on how you are brought
how you were brought up.
obvious.
So, taking this consideration that some maybe in the scenarios you said, some were taken to school, some were taken to a farm to learn it practically, and some were just left off. So even if we have that personal responsibility to take up responsibility and learn, apply what we learned, do you think, first of all, do you think there is practicality in what we are learning in education? Or, yeah, not all, but practicality in what we are learning in school, at home? Are we learning that practical aspect of being able to manage our resources well? For those who are going to farms to manage their farms, are they getting that skill, that practicality? Obvious for them, maybe it's lucky for them, but are we really managing our resources well from that perspective?
Okay, I would say they are, number one, we have to work. There's no way you can earn or you can get resources without working. Maybe you are employed, maybe you are working on a farm, maybe you are in business. Number one, you have to work. The challenge we have at first is the tendency of being lazy. Because you can meet someone in bed when the sun is up. And then by 11, that person is waking up. And now he is complaining, I don't have food, I don't have this. For initially, we have to work. After working, that's when we get some finances to support us. And then now the crucial point is, now how do you manage that finance? Whether you're employed, you are in Juakari, you are in businesses, you are in business, how do you manage that finance? And I said, each one of us has a freedom of his own resource. For instance, here we are 3 of us. Sasa tukipatiwa mtu ngiri moja moja, hakuna mtu atatumia na ile njia ingine. Probably by the time you shall be reporting at your home, you'll have nothing. Utapitia pale kwa barabara, upate someone lost in chicken, and then you decide just to, you have the giri, and by the time you're at home, you have nothing. Madam will now decide, if I go through the shop, the supermarket, I can pick a packet of unga, some maziwa, a loaf of bread, like so. And by the time she is reporting at her house, they have enough food for a week. Myself, maybe I'll go and fuel my car, and that is over. So it's very wide. But I think basically we should first settle on the basic needs. That one is more or less academical, but practical. The basic needs: food, shelter, clothing, and shelter. Now, number 2 is security. Number 4, which is not mentioned properly, na inafunga zote tatu, ni security. I will explain as we go on. So, wakati umepata 1,000, why don't you think of food? And think on food which matters. Ukiingia kwa cave or in a hotel, and you ask for a bajia at 130 bob, and for a soda at 50 bob, That is 200 bob. Madam anunue unga na and a kg of beans. Madam will have food for 3 days. Yako umekula saa hiyo na ukifika nyumbani unaitisha chakula. So it's really a habit. And you know that one is not academical. You have to be wise, to have wisdom. And in fact, God has blessed us with 3 things which are very important. Number 1, you are alive. Uko uhai. Number 2, your health. That is very important. Number 3 is wisdom. Kama Mungu amekupatia life and health, then apply wisdom. And the wisdom is the application of knowledge. So you can have a knowledge, but you are not applying it. So and that's the wisdom of how to manage your resources wisely. Is how you apply your knowledge. Kwa hivyo, you should also be knowledgeable. Yesterday, I was watching a clip during the burial of General Major Kaiseri, and one of the friends who was there in that funeral was Captain Kongo Moigai, just like my name. Na akapeana historia yake na vile walienda jeshi, and the way the first president Mzee Kenyatta went to that parade, and he gave those 2 guys 1,000 each by then, maybe 1972. And they were told, mukienda msikunywe pombe, don't drink. Kaisari went and bought 2 cows with that 1,000. But Kongo Muigai testified that he drank his. And now he was saying, can you see how many cows does Kaisari have up to date? He has even a butchery. So it's a matter of wisdom. And the way you use your resources, are you using your resources for a short time? Are you focusing a long time? And it is good to know that when you are young, especially at the age of, by the time you are started earning, just work. Accumulate what you can accumulate, because it will help you after. Just work. Now, avoid misusing or mismanaging money, because we like mismanaging money. We are fond of. Ukiona tu pesa kwa mfuko ni kama inakusukuma. Inakusukuma. And it is good to know that money is just like water in a river. Lazima itafute njia ya kupitia. It's just like water. So, are you the one to manage your resources, or are the resources to manage you?
Do you have something to say to that? Or a question?
I just want to ask a question about financial planning and wisdom. And I have 2 questions. We have these people who earn daily, like for example, cashiers, they earn like 500 shillings. And especially at a time like now, we know life has become very expensive. So what would be your advice to that kind of a person? Because at the end of the month, they have to pay rent. They also have to eat and other expenses. The second question, you have talked about proper planning and especially the young people. We have seen young people, they get employed, they get good money, but they start living a very expensive life. Their priorities are upside down, not all of them. What would be your advice? Because we see most of the young people, they rush to buying maybe very expensive cars, and I'm not saying cars are bad. They want to live in very expensive apartments. Good living is good. But at the end of the month, you find that you are earning 100,000, you're paying a rent of about 60,000, and your food, your fuel, so you don't even have money to save. You can't even save 10,000. what would be your advice to these two people?
Okay, thank you. That's a very good question. Number one, we are always advised to somehow live below our means. Somehow, if you're earning 100K, try to live as if you're earning 40K. At your young age, try to live as if you don't have money. Let not money control you. As you say, most of the youth will rush for a vehicle, somewhere good to live in, a highly expensive apartment. But now, who is benefiting? Ask yourself, nikitoa 60,000 for rent, am I really benefiting from that? What was the difference of living in a 15,000 house in Umoja, a 2-bedroomed, contrary to going to Luaraka for a 50,000, the same 1-bedroom house? What's the difference? What makes the difference? Live your life. Number one, you may rush for a vehicle, but always ask yourself, is this vehicle worthy? Do I really need it at such a time? Is it a liability or an investment? And for the youth, note two things. A vehicle can be a liability. It can also be an investment, depending on which is your setup. Even a house, it can be a liability, it can be an asset. If you are focusing in future, you may need to own your house. Now, you have to live a simpler life. Because if you are earning 200K, na unaenda unaingia nyumba ya 70K, now, are you focused? Kuna siku unajaribu kufikiria nitaishi kwa nyumba yangu. So unless you limit what you have for now, so that you may save for the future. And as Madam has mentioned the word saving. In fact, if you live a life and you are not able to save, it is very dangerous. It is very dangerous. Na ndio itakuja kukuaffect nyumaye. It will affect you because inaonekana unaweza kwama dakika yote. It happens, you may find someone working in a very big company. Abruptly, amesimamishwa kazi. The next month, he or she can't be able to pay the first month rent. Amekuwa akiishi nyumba ya 50K na mshahara ni 100K. Na amesimamishwa kazi. Hawezi lipa the next month. Is that really good financial management? So if you focus on your future, because you have to focus on your future, there's a time you will not be able to work. At the same time, if I talk as a business person, there's a time when you need your money to work for you. Kuna wakati utahitaji hiyo pesa yako ikufanyie kazi. We should not live a life of chasing money. Wewe ndio unatafuta pesa. Wacha pesa ikutafutie. So, and for you ufike hapo, you have to save it. You have to save that money so that money will work for you next time. And I think that's where most of us go wrong. Tunapata leo, tunakula yote. Tunapata kesho, tunakula yote.
So, dealing with that actually in this situation, we're in a pandemic. So having considered now there are some people who are victims, not victims actually, some people who did not manage their resources well. There are those who did manage, but I'm saying now for those who did not manage the resources well, now they're in a hiccup. They don't know what to do. They are seeing this, and now they want to know, how do we start? How do we how to begin the foundation again to now do the right thing. And now it's difficult in this pandemic, and especially in families, in a husband and a wife. How do they now sit down and know the right way? Where do they begin? Where do they begin?
Okay, thank you. I think when I was introduced the topic, I said first you are brought up in the world, you are brought up, and then my point was a failure may grow up to be a failure. A success may grow up to be a success. For those people who manage themselves properly, as you have said, maybe they are not feeling this pandemic. In fact, there are even those who are, yes, they know there's a pandemic, but financially they are still okay. There are even those who will never forget 2020. They will say it was a year they did 1, 2, 3. There are those who celebrate this year. Mark my word. There are those who celebrate this year. It's only that they are silent. They are not talking along the streets. But for those who have mega income, just like my madam had asked before, yes, kama unapata shilingi 500 kwa siku, use it wisely. And concentrate on food. And more so, practically, dry food is more economical. Nunua maharagwe, nunua mahindi, chemsha, tengeneza githeri. No, it's good food and more economical. The way we were brought up. Mnachemsha githeri ya wiki mzima. We were brought up that way because our parents were wise. We were not brought up by treetops and kadhalika. Those somehow they are luxuries and somehow not very important. At the same time, when this pandemic started and most of us walisimamishwa kazi, we saw people riding along the road selling food and kadhalika. And others walijifungia kwa nyumba. Isn't it that part of wisdom? So there are those who have learned positively from this pandemic. Kuna wengine wataambiwa warudi kazi na hawatarudi. Watasema, through this I have learned to do 1, 2, 3. But let us be wise. Let us know that there is a future. And because the future is uncertain, that's why we prepare for it. And that's why I was saying security should be part of the basic needs. Be secure in food, be secure in housing, be secure even at old age. So secure your future by managing your current finances well. And yet, think of earning more than expenditure. Kuna watu wanakimbia kutumia, lakini hawaulizi zitatoka wapi. If you want to live a better life, first think of how will you expand your income. Let the expansion of income be the priority. Si saa yote ati unafaa kujifinyiria sana. You can use, but learn to earn more. And more so, be honest, be humble, and God will reward you.
So thank you so much. I don't know, is there anything maybe else you'd like to ask? So there's our very brief. I know there's a lot we can talk about this, but I also have one more conclusion we shall do. So it's actually, I love the point you said about security and living below your means. not as in as you plan, and also about you said planning about your expenditure. Learn to get more beyond your expenditure. So
To expand your income.
to expand your income. So now there's this thing people think that you, as a Christian, sifai kufuata pesa sana. Okay, hatujasema usifuate pesa. But they also think that as a Christian, I should not live like this, do like this, you know? So right now, some people, even in this pandemic, now they were thinking like that before. So now here the pandemic has found them. They now even don't have anything they want to do. They're still saying, oh, sitaki kufuata pesa sana, zitakuja time yake and all that. What advice as a Christian and also as a business person, what advice can you give these people? You know that even as God has told us, you'll be given 10,000, the other one will be given 5,000. How will you manage? How will you tell such people?
Okay. To me, Christians are the best people. They are praised properly. Wao wako na bahati. Christians, they are better praised, even for making ends. Why? There's this verse in John 10:10. The devil comes to steal, kill, and destroy. And in most cases, Christians are saved from that scheme of the devil. Because a person might end up accumulating a lot of wealth, but in the process, the devil takes charge. Kwa hivyo, mwenye ako a Christian, remain a Christian. Because you are not chasing money. You are just working. And the Bible reminds us, let us pray that God will bless the work of our hearts. Ukiamuka asubuhi, ukiamuka tuseme umeamuka 6, si unaenda kazi? Are you chasing money? These are gifts from God. The ones I have mentioned. Life, health, and wisdom. So just apply them because God have given you. You are not chasing money. You are just working. God is a worker. And He is still at work. And we are safe as Christians because our resources are safe from those unnecessary expenditure. We know them. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So, Madam Susan, what can you say about that?
I have learned about wisdom. And I think like our speaker says, we are all gifted with wisdom. The question is, how do we use it? Is it positively or is it negatively? Depending on how you use your wisdom, the results will be seen. And I would urge all of us, and especially during this pandemic, we seek God first, like the Bible tells us, John 10:10, and the rest shall fall in place. Yes.
So we thank you so much. Thank you for that wonderful session.
Maybe as we conclude, it's good for me to say that let us learn from others' success and others' failures. There are those who have succeeded, just observe and see how they have done. There are those who have failed, observe and see how they failed. And then you straighten your paths. And finally, choose friends wisely. Have very few friends. Si wengi. Learn from them. Choose them wisely. And note, as a youth, you are the most important person in your life is your parent. As a couple, the most important person in your life is your spouse. Okay, in this life, the many decisions we make depends on the scope of friends. So they are very important. You can learn from your friends. As a youth, learn also from your parents. You can learn from their failures or their successes. And you're okay to go. Learn from successes and failures of others so that you may make better decisions in your life. If you want to make a decision and you don't want to share with anyone, that is already right. So be consulting and be able to make ends meet.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I think my takeaway out of all of this, it all comes down to wisdom. What knowledge do you have and what knowledge are you applying? So it all comes down to you viewers. What knowledge do you have and what knowledge are you applying? Are you reading the Bible, even for you Christians out there who don't know how to manage the Bible? The Bible has a lot of stories for people who are managing their resources well and in God. For anyone out there who's not a Christian, I tell you to seek first the kingdom of God, because as our elder has said, we are safe. You are safe from the devil, from trying to misuse you. You'll know how to handle him, okay? So I pray a lot that you all will enlighten yourselves more and learn so much from those who are ahead of you and also those who are below you. Learn. Wisdom is always everywhere in the marketplace calling, as the Bible says. So thank you so much. Thank you so much, our panel. We thank you for taking your time and being with us. I pray that you'll be with us, viewers, for the next videos, and I pray that all this has been a blessing to you. God bless you, and God bless us all. Thank you.
Thank you.